We're just waiting another minute and for our other guests. I'm on the thing I can't see. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you this morning to a very special presentation, or really discussion, live from Ukraine. This is not, we're not talking about a story that happened and what happened. We're talking about something that's happening right now, as all of us are glued to the various channels of news, whether it's internet, newspapers, television, images of what is going on in Ukraine and the war that's already a month long, over a month long. And it's very hard to see the terrible damage that's happening in Ukraine and all the people, millions who had to run for their lives, especially for us as Jews. And we know that Ukraine has a Jewish community that's, I think, larger than even Canada's. And the entire community has been hit in every part of Ukraine. Some places where it's unbearable to continue, other places where they have to deal with constant threat and terror and difficulties. And that's what we're here to listen to, what is really going on in Ukraine, but not only the hardship, but actually within what's happening, the great work of the shluchim of the Rebbe. Most of the work happening in Ukraine is through the Rebbe's army of 192 families. Unfortunately, many of them had to run, take their families. Some of the men had returned and are there to be there with their fellow Jews during this time, to keep their spirits up and make sure they have everything they need physically, spiritually. And that is what we're going to hear. Today we have two very special guests. I'm going to highlight them. We have two very special guests that we are going to hear from. One is Rabbi Avraham Wolff, who has been in Odessa, Ukraine, the chief rabbi of Odessa, Ukraine, has built up the Jewish community. Odessa was always known as a great Jewish city, and has revived the Jewish community and built many great institutions. And now in the war has to deal with ensuring that every Jew, and obviously many non-Jews who they're helping as well, is able, if they want to leave, to be able to leave. And those who have to remain, and it's impossible for them to leave, to be able to be there for everything that they need and to keep the Jewish community together and alive and taken care of. We also have with us Rabbi Avraham Berkowitz, who has been involved in many Chabad missions of events in response to tragic events happening around the world. When the terrorist attack happened in Mumbai and other places, always they're working with governments and other organizations to try to be there to help in all ways, and usually physical help and obviously spiritual help as well. And now Rabbi Berkowitz is in the countries that are surrounding Ukraine, where many of the refugees are going to. He is there as a senior coordinator to coordinate a lot of the help that they need at the spot, and then to be able to help them get to somewhere until things quiet down and either they're able to go back home or to go to their final country. So this is a great merit to be able to hear from these people live. As the war is going on, their work is continuing in the fullest and complete way. So I'd like to do is, and I'm going to find him here, Rabbi Wolff. I'd like to first hear a little bit from Rabbi Wolff. We're going to want to hear.
I'm here.
Yes, I'm going to put you up here. No, one moment.
I'm here, Shalom.
Yeah, but I just want people to see you, so one moment. Let me get your, we have a lot of people on here. I want to find your name and highlight you so people can see you while you talk. Rabbi Berkowitz. תחת איזה שם אתה?
אברהם וולף.
אברהם וולף, לרגע אחד.
כתוב האייפון של רבי אברהם וולף, משהו כזה.
רגע אחד. iPhones, okay.
You see?
Yeah. And hold on one second. I just want to get on Rabbi Berkowitz. So we have both of you on here, and we will begin, and then I will step back. Rabbi Berkowitz, let me find. Okay. So, Rabbi Wolff, we all are here, our ears. A big part of Montreal community comes from Russia, Ukraine, parents, grandparents. One of the largest survivor communities in the world is in Montreal. So Montreal is always at the forefront to try to be there to help wherever there is an issue. And we're all glued, and we want to hear what is happening in Ukraine and why are you still there? What is going on? What are you doing now? Rabbi Wolff, and Rabbi Wolff will speak. He's from Israel originally, and he'll try his best to speak in English to us, and I'll be there to help translate or the parts that it's easier for him to say in Hebrew.
Okay. First of all, my English, it's my mother language. The same what my mother don't understand English. I also don't understand English. And then I try my best, but if it's will be a little bit hard, you have to help me with Hebrew and something like this. I'm here now because of one of kind population what we have here in Odessa. If we take Odessa now, is Odessa, we can the Jewish Odessa, we can divide it to four kinds of population. The first population, it's people what have the opportunity to go out from Ukraine in the last month, and they just need help how to go out. And this is what we do already more than a month. We evacuate about 155 buses every morning from the train station going out, a bus or two buses or five buses. We have days what we send 18 buses in one day, and we take the people from Odessa till the border between Odessa and between Ukraine and Moldova. And over there, people are going out from the buses, and then they're going to Moldova. We don't think now about the bakvem of the people, about the
comfort, not about the comfort.
The comfort, yeah. We just think about how to save the life of the people. They're going to Moldova, and from Moldova, some people staying in Moldova in the refugees lagers, camps. Some of the people are going to Romania, to Europe, to Vienna, to Germany. But we think now just how to save the life of people. I think we evacuate something between 9,000 or 10,000 Jewish people from Odessa before in this month, in the last month. This is one of the kind of population what we help them. A second kind of population, this is people what they have to stay here because they very, very sick or old. We have in our community a nursing home for people what they survive Holocaust. In our nursing home, living now in this moment, 50 Jewish people survive Holocaust, but the younger is more than 91 years. They are sick, they can't going out from the city because even I've give everybody a ambulance and I give them doctors, yeah, it's not going to survive the way because it's very, very hard and it's impossible to help you to go out. What we're doing with this couple of population, we put a lot of food, flowers, rice, macaroni, water, gretchki, I would say gretchki in English, huh? Buckwheat, and sardine, conserving. We put a lot of food. We pay salary for the metzistra, for the nurse to be over there 3 months and don't go out. Now we close the nursing home like a aquarium where the people can live here and not going out in the
You don't have to go outside of the building and outside.
Yeah, and they live over there. They don't understand nothing. Most of the people already don't understand nothing. They just living over there. They play, they eat, they sleep, and everything is okay. The third group of population. This is our children from our orphanage. Tell you the history. It's very interesting history. About I think the end of the first week from the war, I told my wife it's impossible to leave
the orphans.
To leave the orphanage in Odessa because we have 120 children. They live in different houses. So every house is it's 3 floors of with kitchen, with stolova, with the dining room, with rooms, with teachers, with hospitality, with teachers, and the small baby in our orphanage is 35 days. 35 days. Tuvia, his mother bring him after she got him in the first day in the
4th day after 4 days after he was born.
The 4 days she bring him, they leave him, and she go out. We have 120 children like this, and I tell my wife it's impossible to stay in Odessa with the children because if something happens, we live in our house. Boys live in another house. The girls live in another house. The synagogue is in another address. If something happens, yeah, if something happened, and the teacher then came, or the kuchon rabotnik, or the cookies,
the cook didn't show up, or anyone.
Yeah, it's small children. We have, I think most of the children they don't have bar mitzvah. You know,
they're under 13.
And I told my wife we must to take the children out from the country because it's very, very dangerous. I call my friend, I'm in the classmate, the chief rabbi, the Chabad shliach in Berlin, Rabbi Avraham. He's very strong rabbi. I have a very strong community. He has a very good connection with the government. I told him, Rabbi Tertel, I take my children, 120 children, and I send it to you. Do something. He told me, don't worry. It's not problem. Till you came to Berlin in 2 days, we find for you a place with food. Don't worry. Our community will take care of you. I told him, but I have one small problem. The children don't have visa to Europe, to Germany. He told me, no problem. I'll fix it. Start to evacuate the children. I tell him, I have one more problem, also small, but the children don't have passport. He told me, we'll check, we'll do something. I tell him, I have one more small problem. Most of the children have just copy of the birth document. The
hospital.
Yeah. And he told me, you know what? Wait a minute. He's take the phone. He's called his friend, the chief the chief policeman of the all borders of the all
All
Germany.
the borders of Germany. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's told him, Mr. I forget his name. I have a big problem. I have to come to you in a minute. He's told him, don't. No problem. Came. He's go to the chief of the borders and told him, and he's make a phone call with me also. And the policeman asked me, Rabbi Wolff, what the problem? I told him I have 120 children. They have just copy of birth certificate. He told me, Rabbi Wolff, listen, you 120 children, it's my personal guest. Don't think nothing, send the children, and it will be okay in the old borders. 6 o'clock, Wednesday, a week after the war starting, I call my son, my older son, Mendy, is 25 years, also a rabbi here in Odessa.
Yeah.
And I told him, Mendy, I have for you a mission. He told me, Father, what you need? I told him, you have to take the children together with your wife and your small baby and take them till Germany and bring them back after the war to Odessa. He told me, Father, don't worry. Tati, don't worry. It will be fixed. And then we open a live location with the policemen in Berlin. And every 3 hours, they call us, and we're going through, you have to understand, we're going the border of Ukraine, Moldova, Romania, Hungary, Slovenia, Czechia, and Germany with no problem. And everybody in what we came, the policeman, the boarding officer came to the bosses. I mean, he say, oh, Chabad Odessa, Mishpacha orphanage, go ahead. When the children came already till Slovenia, I tell my wife, it's already on the second day, I tell my wife, we have one more small problem. We have in our community a lot of members, but they between 18 and 60. They can go out from the country
men.
also.
The men.
Yeah, the men. But the ladies, the women, and the children still here with the men because he can go out. Let me do something. We make a bivlenia. We make a investment. Amoda in our community WhatsApp, as everybody would want to send his wife and the children together with the rabbi and the rebbitzin tomorrow 6 o'clock near the orphanage. We got 140 women and children. We take 4 buses. It's a very difficult picture when the men stay and they say bye bye the woman and the children. We just saw this picture in the books in the wall and the history. And I go together with my wife. We're going 3 days. We're going from Odessa Friday morning. We make the same way with the same policemen from Berlin because the children also don't have passport and nothing. We're going also the same 7 borders, and we came safely till Berlin. And now in Berlin we have almost 300 women and children, but they stay in Berlin. When I came together with my wife to Berlin, I told my wife, listen, I have one day to be with you here, to send the old document what we have to do to get the status of refugee in Germany, and then I have to get back to the четвертая группа. For the 4th group, but this is 25,000 Jewish people, but still live in Odessa. And then my wife stay in Berlin with the children and the woman. And the orphans, and I came back to Odessa to be with the community together and Purim and Shabbos and everything. When I came back to the synagogue, and I just left from Odessa for 4 days, 4.5 days. And I came back to the synagogue, and hundreds of people came to the synagogue to see me and to kiss me and to cry together. I understand how much it's wichtig, how much it's important
it is.
Important the решение, the decision what I took to came back to the community. The mayor of the city called me, oh, Rabbi Wolff, you're back. Oh, thank God. Now we quiet. Now we understand. You know, I tell you some surreality story. We have here in Odessa some lady. She's not a Jewish. She's very rich lady. She's helping a lot our orphanage. She's called me and she's telling me, Rabbi Wolff, did you in Odessa? I told Vika, what a question about it. For sure, I'm together with you, with the community. She told me, now I'm quiet. I can go to the church and light candles. The people need the monthly help more than they need the physical help, because when a man worry, he cannot eat nothing. When he's quiet, then he's hungry, and then we have to help him with the food. And
so you're coming back. So you're coming back brought a lot of confidence to the people that they can feel it'll be good.
Everybody, it's go like a fire. In a second, the whole city understand. And the deputy call me, the policeman call me, the government call me, everybody call me. Rabbi Wolff, you back in Odessa? Oh, thank God! Now we quiet. Now we know it will be very, very good. And now we have here 8,000 whole people. What they live in his houses by themselves. They need food. They need medicine. You know, the whole pharmacy in Odessa is closed. There's no medicine here. We send somebody to Moldova, and we send them every day, at least with hundreds of questions about people asking for medicine. Is buy it in Moldova and send me to Odessa, and we give it to people every week. We give a package with 8,000 packages to all the people with food, with flour, with fish, with meat, with fish, everything what people need. We send them every day with a lot of volunteers what we have here in the
volunteers,
community. Yeah, and you stay here now with the community together. You know, now I told my wife, now it's very popular population to occupy something. Everybody now occupied something. We also occupied Moldova a little bit, Berlin a little bit, Odessa, and our shlichus now is not just in Odessa. In Odessa, in what we can occupy, we occupied it now.
Spread your wings. You spread your wings. And
yeah, now I'm a big rabbi of Odessa and South of Ukraine, and a little bit Israel, a little bit Moldova, a little bit Romania, a little bit Berlin. And this is the way how you want to think.
That is unbelievable. And I want to ask a few questions, and I'm sure the people will want to put a few questions, but let's just hear a little bit. You're telling us what's happening in Odessa, and it's interesting to understand how in the middle of the war you're operating, able to do all the things you're doing, but how you helped so many people get out, and you're giving conference to people who are there. We want to hear a little bit, when the people go out and your people, you were able to get to Berlin and have a beautiful situation. And I understand even the president of Germany was instrumental, would help your group. But we also have with us Rabbi Berkowitz, who is dealing a lot with the refugees because they're going to many countries. So let's ask Rabbi Berkowitz to talk for a few minutes a little bit about what's going on the side when the people come out. And we understand a lot of people get out, cross the border, and they may have to walk by foot. And where do they go? Where do they begin to get food, play a roof over their head? So Rabbi Berkowitz.
So thank you. First of all, it's such an honor to be together with another Rabbi Avraham. Rabbi Wolff is such an inspiration to those that left, but so also those that remain inside, that he's not gonna give up, and he's gonna keep his morale is amazing because he seems happy, but the pain and suffering around him is indescribable. I'm right now in Warsaw. If you can see behind me the Polish flags, the President of the United States was here yesterday. At the same time, the contrast of the greatest leader, the power of the United States, and an assistant to the President of the United States wrote to me on Shabbos. I did not see it until after Shabbos, inviting me to come to the speech. And he wrote, unless you're busy with other matters, which even an assistant to the President understood that the work I'm doing is more important than the speech that the President gave. And what is that work? The flow of immigrants that have left, the refugees have left Ukraine is beyond imagination. You know, when Rabbi Krasniansky mentioned earlier that I was involved with rebuilding Chabad of Mumbai, that was one tragedy was touched everyone in the world. We lost our dear shluchim, the rabbis, the rebbetzin, then and their guests, and their building was destroyed. Right now, we're dealing with 10,000 homes, 10,000 institutions. It's of a magnitude that we can't imagine, because wherever we're trying to deal with the issue, there are so many more people that are in need and suffering that the Jewish world really needs to stand up and do things that they never did in our lifetime. And I will explain it even further. So I'm here now in Warsaw. A week ago, I was in Bucharest, and we read right now Chabad is hosting in terms of giving food and lodging to tens of thousands of people on a turnover basis. So from Moldova, 27 cities that we're now in. So from Moldova, Hungary, Poland, Germany, Austria, Montenegro, Finland, Croatia, Bulgaria, even Istanbul now. But after we read the Megillah on Purim, an old man was speaking to the group. He was 85 years old. And he was talking about this is the second time that he's running for his life during a war. He says the first time his father was killed by his neighbor. His father was killed by his Ukrainian neighbor. And he said, this week I got my revenge. I was very worried. What does he mean? He got his revenge. He said, then 80 years ago, my non-Jewish neighbor killed my father. I was an orphan. He said, this time, my non-Jewish neighbor, an elderly woman, said to me, you're going on the bus, the Jewish community is evacuating. Are you going to leave me? So he said, I called the rabbi, the Chabad rabbi, and I told him, what am I going to do with my neighbor? She's not Jewish. He said, what do you mean? Bring her on the bus. It's because what's happening now is not, and he said, that's my revenge, that when it's time for us and we have a privilege, not only are we going to help our own people, we're going to help our neighbors who are not Jewish too. And we have to understand this, because this is not a war on Jews. This is a war on the people of Ukraine. So everyone that's fleeing, we, by extension, whoever we can help, we're helping. And Chabad is, I'm seeing it here in Berlin. They're feeding thousands of people every day. But everyone knows that the care and the dignity is on one of the best, the highest levels. You have the president of the United States visited the central station. He went in, people are living in tents or outdoors. He didn't say, you know, can't be, let's rent every room in the city of hotel room. I would do that if I was the president. But he didn't. He hugged the kid and he went back on Air Force One. I mean, that's what he did. But Chabad is right now renting in Warsaw a few hundred rooms of hotels. And we have not only Jewish people, we also have many other people that are asking for our help. So wherever we can help, we're giving them rooms, but we're also feeding them. And that's just one example, because I was in many cities this week and last week. But there's two things that I saw that are extraordinary. I never saw the power of prayer like I did in the last few weeks. So even though when the Rebbe spoke about this many years ago, when the world is turning over and there's wars happening, it's a time for us to call out to Hashem. We say Shema Yisrael, and that's why I want to make a short prayer with everyone on this call. I should say Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus L'Olam Va'ad. Now we have to say, Hareini Mekabel Alai Mitzvah Sasei Shal V'Yahavta V'Reacha Kamecha. I hereby accept upon myself to love my fellow as myself. And then Ach Tzadikim Yodu L'Shmecha Yesh V'Yisharim Espanecha. When we say these words, I pray with people. They're getting from us beds, they're getting us food, medicine, clothing. We're helping them. But when we pray with them, they tell me this is giving them more strength than anything else. I've never seen anything like it. I want to send warm regards, Rabbi Wolff. I was in Berlin last week. Your wife is doing an amazing job, but even more is your son and your daughter-in-law. I think they're such amazing, devoted, young shluchim, young rabbi and rebbetzin. I see them 24 hours taking care of the kids, the families, and it's amazing what your family has done. So I just wanted to say, if 80 years ago Jews immigrated to Canada, and you were able to transform, the families that you brought to Canada. Look what you've built, Jewish life. We are living in a historical moment right now that all of us are going to be judged and tested and reminded, how did we act in these days? And I'm proud that I'm part of the Rebbe's Shluchim, because there's a beautiful video that you should watch from 1985, where the Rebbe speaks about his mother's effort to take care of refugees that were coming then from Russia towards Yekaterinoslav, which is now Dnipro. And now the Rebbe's Shluchim all over Europe in 26 cities are receiving refugees, and following in the exact model of the Rebbe's parents and what the Rebbe said, formed his own attitude and feeling of how to take care of people in their most dire moments as refugees.
Rabbi Berkowitz, if I can ask a question, and by the way, two things. If anyone has a question, put it in the chat and we will bring it up. And as well, and we're going to hear soon, obviously, we all want to help. And whoever wants to help, I'm going to put it in the chat as well. If you want to help financially, obviously prayers is what Rabbi Berkowitz said is very important, and we all should be praying, and I'm sure a lot of us are praying. But whoever wants to help financially, if you want to get a Canadian receipt, I'll put in the chat. You can give it to Chabad TMR, and we will distribute it to those.
I think there's two directions here, because one is, I think it's what Rabbi Wolff, it's impossible. The needs that Rabbi Wolff has and the Shluchim have in Ukraine, you can't imagine how great and big it is. I mean, he's dealing with a city under siege, and it would never, it's not right, it's not moral to take money that's sent to Odessa and send it out to another European city. So first of all, there's no question that the most needy people, and everyone is in need, whatever support can go to Rabbi Wolff, what he's dealing with, it's never, he needs so much that, because it's not just his family and one Chabad. I know that he's helping every single family, thousands of people. It's beyond anything we've ever had to deal with. And so it should be two separate gifts. And one I will tell you, we're dividing up between the communities that are serving refugees, which also is an enormous budget, because people are turning away people because they don't have enough to provide. But we have to get ready now for Pesach. We have to do this on a 3-month basis in every city. But it's very hard that I say every dollar that you can, stretch it a little more. I think the majority, a lot, should go to Odessa. And then, of course, I'm very happy together with Rabbi Krasniansky to administer whatever I'm overseeing to the communities that are receiving refugees in Europe.
100%. And I want to hear a little, like this, Rabbi Wolff. Obviously, you know, we have no idea the scope of what you're doing. We see in the actions, both financially, and I wanted to, what I want to do is, because we're in Canada and many people want a Canadian receipt, they'll be able to do it through here. And I was going to say how they can allocate. They say, you know, 50% Odessa, 100% Odessa, or for refugees outside. But perhaps, while remember, you can always put in the chat questions, but I want to ask, Rabbi Wolff just came back on the screen. So I want to ask Rabbi Wolff, how are you able to do what you're doing? Like, is money able to come into you? Are you able to buy food? Like, how are you able to even make things happen? How many people are you reaching? I mean, there you said there are 25,000 Jews left in Odessa. How is life there today, and how are you able? I mean, hear us, yeah.
You know, if we need something now, money, and somebody sending money to New York, and we every morning checking if the bank still working, we send money from New York to our community, and then right away we pay and we buy food, and the show the account as empty, because we worry every day, because we have already experienced from the 2014 when the president of Ukraine left to Russia, and we have a big revelation, and the banking not working, and the bank don't work for a few months. We have already experienced, and now we do it every day. Again, if the bank still working, we send money, we buy medicine, and the account is empty. When we need the food, we buy food, and we check as should not have a problem with the bank. But the most problem what we have now, not problem, but I don't like the
challenge.
Challenge, yeah, because the Rebbe take out from our speech, from our language, the problems and how,
only solutions. And,
the problem, but the solution, the thing what we feel now, the pain what we feel. 30 years ago, I came to Odessa. I find 35 pieces of puzzle, small pieces. And in 35 years, we collect these pieces to one big puzzle. We built in Odessa 3 kindergarten, Jewish kindergarten, 3 elementary school, 1 high school, orphanage for boys, orphanage for girls, Jewish university, yeshiva, cheder, koilel, till nursing home. We built everything
the whole
for
infrastructure,
Jewish.
the whole infrastructure.
Yeah. And it became a one big picture of a nice Jewish community. And we just put it on the wall, and the war came, and it's broken again for 35 pieces. It's I believe in God. I understand that this is what the God wants, but the pain, what we feel when we saw the community in all over the world, and we understand as a lot of day will be disappear because they need a pastor, and if you every Jew is like a shepherd, but need a pastor, and if they live in Zimbabwe and in Uganda and in such a small places in Germany, small village, we understand we lost the people. And this is the most pain, and for this I'm very I'm very
thankful.
Thankful
Appreciate.
because when we small children and we fall in and we have a pizza, and we have blood in the and the mother came to you, or the father, or a big brother, or a big sister, and they kiss you and they hug you. They don't do nothing for your pain, but your pain going out because somebody think about you. Somebody kiss you. I feel in the last months, and now also in this Zoom, how much people sitting now in Toronto. They can sleep now. They can sit in and eat breakfast. And they think about me, they think about our community. It's given me such a good feel, as like my mother kissed me now, and she's giving me a push to go weiter and do good thing for the Jewish nation. It's even if I don't get $1 from this Zoom, my tank is full with oil already. Because I feel I don't sit here by myself. Rabbi Krasiansky, what I saw him maybe 2 times or 3 times in my life in 770, between 5,000 shluchim what came to the Kinnus Shluchim. Yeah, before this war, for me the big picture what everybody know from the Kinnus Shluchim, for me it's 5,000 hat and ties and black jacket. Now I feel as everybody from the Shluchim is a picture, is a face, is a telephone call, is a WhatsApp, or a Wolff, what you need. Let me make together Zoom, maybe to send you $100 or $1,000. I feel as we are big family, nice family, and every telephone call, when Rabbi Berkowitz called me a week ago, and he's telling me, Rabbi Wolff, I don't know what I can do to you for you, but I try my best. I tell him, Rabbi Berkowitz, you already fill my gas back with full oil, because when the Jewish people don't sleep now in Toronto and don't eat breakfast and don't spazieren auf dem park, they sitting and think about me, about my community. I think most of the people even don't know exactly who is Odessa, and they sitting and they hear and they thinking how to help me. It's very, very big thing for us, and I appreciate it for you. And I have for you. I want to tell you a big, big thank you with my broken English, but with a ganze heart.
With your whole heart.
With your whole heart.
Rabbi Wolff, you're very humble. You're a big anav. You're very humble. We are in awe of you being there in the middle of it all. You left your family in Berlin, and you're there on the front line, and dealing with things that most people don't ever deal with in any way. And we're just sitting here because we're interested. That we feel what's going on is terrible, and the many on here know that one of us that want to help. And just tell us quickly, like what the type of work you're doing today. What is your daily budget to keep Odessa alive today?
I can tell you what we spend already in the last month, more than $1.5 million for this month. Every day it's bosses, every day it's food. These children in Berlin, women in Berlin, medicine for people. It's not a big budget. זה בכלל בודג'ט שלא חלמנו שנצטרך להוציא כזה גודל של בודג'ט.
Beyond imagination of the amount that's needed. I mean, talking about thousands of people on a regular basis. This is incredible. And
in regular time, every boss from Odessa till the boarding to Chisinau to Moldova, it costs about $2,500, $3,000. Now they took $7,000 for every boss. Make 7,000 for 155 bosses to understand just the budget of the bosses.
Wow.
Okay, and now from here you can go up and up.
So
I want to add. I want to add something. It dawned on me now, a connection that I have with you, Rabbi Krasniansky, that I never told you about in front of your community. But when I was in Mumbai on Chabad, helping rebuild the Chabad house, we had a guest from Israel. His name was David Wagner. I'm going to introduce you to him again. And he told everyone at the table why he's keeping Shabbat. He said that in 1982, which is now 40 years ago, he was in the Navy in Pearl Harbor. He said he was on the front line, and 2 young rabbinical students came to visit him. He didn't remember your name, but I know it was you and Itchy Gross. And you came on a mission, the Rebbe said, to print the Tanya in Hawaii, and to give a pair of tefillin to a soldier. Now, it turns out the reason why you went is because he wrote a letter to his main chaplain that he's alone in an army base in Pearl Harbor, and he wants to get more, he wanted to do something more religious. And that chaplain wrote a letter to the Rebbe in New York, and in turn, the Rebbe sent you. It was the first time Lubavitch went to Hawaii. Wow. It's 40 years ago.
Yeah.
It
was actually my older brother, but that's a great, we have to make sure he knows.
All right, which brother?
Matel lives in Australia.
Matel in Australia.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I understood. Okay, but it's still something
100%.
that I think, I just was thinking about Rabbi Wolff's The Kids, and I was sitting, what's the Passover Seder? It's about telling the story, right? It's about the book. But I want everyone on this chat to think about where their children and grandchildren, nieces and nephews will be on Pesach, and think about what they will have and what they don't have. One thing that struck me about these kids, they're playing, they're having a good time. They have no clothes. I think, and don't use clothes. There's shopping malls, there's stores in Berlin. If you could send Rabbi Wolff money that he can give every parent, or all the caretakers of the kids, they could buy the kids a dress or clothing for Passover that they wouldn't have. I think it could be an amazing thing. I think when you're going to be reading the Haggadah and the Seder, you'll know that you gave dignity to the children they don't know what's going to be tomorrow. And I want you to know, Rabbi Wolff, they love you and your wife and what you built so much. Everyone says we're going back to Odessa. They don't want to move to Berlin. They don't want to move to America. They don't even want to move to Israel. Meaning, eventually we don't know what will happen. But in their minds, they're holding out the hope. They still hope that they're coming home.
Wow.
Yeah,
This is
thank you very much.
incredible. This is incredible. So what happens, Rabbi Berkowitz, just one second, what happens as the refugees are going out? So here they came, Rabbi Wolff's orphanage, and some of the women and children went to Berlin. They're going to all these various places you said, but where are they going to today from there? How long do they hang around, whether it's in Poland or in Moldova, Romania?
So Germany has this special visa that probably is going to bring a lot more people, because if you're Jewish, they're giving you a unique status that you don't have to wait, and you're going to get the package from the government within 90 days. They're going to start. So right now the burden is entirely on the local Chabad, but in 90 days the housing and things will kick in. We already have 1,000, and not just from Odessa. There's 1,000 refugees that are living in Berlin. And we have also 1,000 in Vienna. You know, in Vienna, he's already absorbing the kids into the Chabad Lauder school. It's a huge budget, what's going to happen, because they have to learn new languages. But again, we know that this is not something, even if the war ended, please God, today, it's 6 months before people could even move back, if it's possible. So we have to make a plan for another half a year minimum of what's going to happen. Nobody, I know the Rabbi Kamenetsky and the Rabbi Petrus, as many people as possible that he can, he's sending to Israel for the time being, as we can. You know, in Israel, we have so many resources and communities that Chabad are taking in people. So it is also something that, you know, we're trying to send people to, and Chabad is receiving them in Israel, and Rabbi Wolff is also involved with this. There are other communities. Honestly, I hope nobody stays where I am in Warsaw. You know, my grandmother left here. We know, thank God she got out, but it's not a place for Jews to live here. So there's 2,000 here, but we're getting them to move on as fast as possible. And we don't know, no one knows where they're going to end up. That's why the burden is on right now, Chabad we have to spend at least $250,000 a day on food and hotel rooms and medicine and clothing, and giving people dignity. When I was in Austria, we gave everyone 200 euros. I was with someone who gave that. Like, we're able to, you have to have trusted people on the ground, and you would not imagine where it's happening. And someone asked about Russia. I must say that it's not going to be the same, people aren't going to have the same feeling for it, but it's the same Jewish people that are now migrating from Russian cities to the Baltic states and other places. One shliach, one rabbi told me this morning, he said, his wife said, what am I going to do? They had to feed people on Shabbos, and people were lining up at their house. They had no idea there were that many refugees. They had to clear there was no room. They had to do 3 shifts. And then they had people just making more and more food. They had the non-Jewish workers just preparing food, because these people had no food. And they're coming from Russia, actually. So it's very interesting. There's a migration and there's refugees, but like I said, there's 10,000 fires burning. And the question is, we can't do enough. Wow. So when Rabbi Wolff says he's not sure if he's going to get any benefit from this, I'm not allowing that. His hour is too precious. If it's not from people that are on this call, everyone knows someone. Call him, call me directly. We'll put you in touch directly with the cause. It will be spent in the next 2 weeks. I don't believe in this case of money going to something that will be, you know, in a year from now or 2 years from now, you know. And there's so many agencies and organizations. All I know is I'm on the ground with our team, because when it goes to Rabbi Wolff, or it comes to the Chabad houses that I will send you to in Europe, it will be spent before Pesach. That's all I can say.
And Chabad is, I understand, a lot of different organizations and the Israeli government. Chabad is sort of the center of the refugee, handling the refugee issues, the Jews, and because of that, many non-Jews.
Yes, and I will say, look, even in Poland, there's many different, you know, ways that Chabad is getting the funding. But the Jewish Agency already ordered 2,000 meals for the people they're helping over Pesach. So the rabbi looks at me, he's like, I'm going to do it, but I don't have a kitchen that could ever made this amount of food. So now we're building him a kitchen for $60,000. So today I'm looking around, maybe this group would participate in that. But there's a long list that needs to be taken care of, and every day it's being sent out. And again, I'm telling you, Rabbi Wolff is here. You can't imagine whatever the communities here in need, he needs 5 times more, simply because they have no other alternative. I'll give you an example. It's just to understand, Rabbi Wolff, it looks like he's in a beautiful place. The dire situation that people are in inside Ukraine is beyond our imagination, because they're without their wives in many cases, and it's elderly that they have to infirm. And they're in a lot of times when the sirens go off, they're for 10, 12 hours or 24 hours, they're in the shelter. So on Thursday night, the rabbi in Berlin got a call that he needs to go get 10,000 adult diapers, not baby diapers, because people inside the shelters in Ukraine, there's no sanitation and they have no other option but using adult diapers. So he and his wife and myself, we went to every pharmacy in Warsaw and bought out everything, put it on a bus and sent it to Ukraine. But do you understand what we're dealing with over here?
Wow.
So I have no words. I'm telling you now, whatever you can, call up your non-Jewish friends that never thought of helping and help Rabbi Wolff and his community.
Rabbi Wolff.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Rabbi Wolff, I asked him last week, he finished his orphanage, non-Jewish orphanages now he's helping to evacuate. I know this for a fact. And again, I keep on calling the list. I call up a Jew. We already gave to this organization. I said, so give a little more. But then I'm reaching out to non-Jews and I say, look, a good percentage of those that we're helping, we're not asking. We know that they're all God's children. We're helping whoever we can, and we won't stop.
Rabbi Wolff, אתה יכול לשלוח על הצ'אט מה הלינק בשביל Odessa. So
I don't know how to do that, but
okay, so tell me and I'll put it on the chat. What is the
I'll send you to your
okay, WhatsApp.
to your WhatsApp, okay?
So if
Yeah,
anyone
send
has
me
any
something.
questions, I mean, there's so many questions. We know that their time is precious. Both Rabbi Wolff and Rabbi Berkowitz are very busy, and we thank you so much for giving us time. We don't want to hold you up just to hear. It's, we feel and we want to really feel what's happening, and I think we really get a picture of the great sacrifice that is happening from Rabbi Wolff and those rabbis that remained in Ukraine, Rabbi Berkowitz, and those who are dealing with the millions of refugees, and every day the needs are beyond imaginable. I don't know if we can even imagine. And we definitely, there are many people here who want to help. I'm sure everyone wants to help. Or as Rabbi Berkowitz said, you may know others who you can get to help. This is a one-time thing where we can help. Hopefully something that will not repeat itself. But imagine if you're living during the Holocaust and you had people asking you to help. This is what's going on here to these people is entire country is on the move, and like I said, they don't even have clothes. Many people leave with nothing. So this is our opportunity to help. And I'm going to put on the chat, but and I'll give it just 2 more minutes if anyone has any questions, or else I want to let them go back to their work. But I'm going to put on the chat. I put on already for Rabbi Berkowitz. I'm going to put on Rabbi Wolff's. If you want to donate directly to them, if you want to get a tax receipt in Canada, you can do it through Chabad, and you'll mark who it's for, and we will get it to them. And please, you can give me a call if you want to do more or something bigger, and people, because we want to be there at this important time to help our brothers and sisters in the Holy Land. So I'm just going to get it on the chat in a moment. Meanwhile, does anyone have any questions before we allow them to get back to their work? Does anyone have a question? Or, I mean, you really told so much that that I'm sure everyone has been is in awe of the work you're doing and imagines what knows how important it is. But if anyone has any
We're
questions,
watching. You can put the question in the chat. We're watching.
exactly. If anyone has a question, you can put it in the chat. While I get on the Rabbi Wolff's. Okay, I think we are good.
So,
I just want to get.
So are you in touch? Are you in touch with the soldiers?
Who are you asking? If you
That's for Rabbi Wolff.
Rabbi Wolff, Toda Rabba, Hayalim.
Hachaylim Hayudim, the Jewish soldiers. They want to know, are Jewish soldiers fighting?
We
Hold
send
on,
the old Jewish soldiers in the Odessa region. We send them every day kosher food, and some volunteer from our community going and put filling with the soldiers. We do maximum what we can help our soldiers. Our soldiers. It's also all Ukrainian soldiers, but especially with the Jewish, we send the kosher food and filling and everything every day.
Toda.
Is there any other question? I guess we're going to put up the thing, and if not, we're going to let them go back to their work. I'm putting up the link, and we're going to.
Rabbi.
Yes.
I noticed in one of the notes that one of the Russian high-ranking generals had a Jewish name, Yaakov something. I presume it's true. We don't know what we read, but it must be a very complicated situation, even for the Russian troops that are there who might be Jewish. Who knows why, what pressure they're under.
Rabbi Wolff, Shamata. Okay, I think we lost him now. Okay. I think we lost Rabbi Wolff. Rabbi Berkowitz, you want to say a last word before you go? You already gave, you really did, gave so much to us, and we really wish you a lot of success. We all pray that the war is over right away, but like you said, it's still months of work that's going to have to happen until people can be repatriated, and or if they're going to a new place. So Hashem bless you in all your work.
I put my phone number there. I want to be able to help people directly. So if somebody says, let's help someone directly, we can move that very quickly. So I think that people don't realize how much more they can do than they already did. And every single person can make a difference for these people. And I will add, there are many people that in the next few weeks, during the course of the rest of their lives, will be decided based on what the embrace and the care and concern our community has for them, because the need is so critical. So every single bit of human sharing and help and the reach that we can have will truly, that's the only outcome that I could see is of light and positivity. And it's what the Rebbe sent us as foot soldiers to do, to love every single Jew, and by extension, every single human being, to care for their needs. And we have the ability to do it, and we need to step up to the plate.
Thank you, Rabbi Berkowitz, so much. Rabbi Wolff, I guess, had to leave as well. And we really appreciate, not the only time with us, but really taking away from the tremendous work you're doing. And Hashem should bless you and all those you're working with, and the shluchim outside and inside Ukraine who are dealing with this issue that really we're all responsible for. You should be able to do it in the best way, the greatest dignity. And we are here to help, and we will be in touch with those who have responded.
Thank you so much.
And those that send directly. So be well. Thank you all for joining, and let everyone share this with everyone around. It's important people know what's really going on. So all the best. Have a great day and a successful week.
Amen.
Be well. Bye-bye.
Shekoyach, Rabbi, for organizing this.
Be well, everyone.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yes, thank you for joining. Thank you for coming on, and be well.
You too.
I just sent Dina our credit card, Rabbi.
Okay.
And she's gonna send it to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Thanks. Thank you all for coming. And let everyone know. Be well.